Here's how I made this adorable shell chair. First thing I did was buy this acrylic chair that I found on Amazon. It is $100 and basically has these acrylic legs with a little white cushion that goes on top. Next, I went to Home Depot and picked up some chicken wire and some small pieces of wood to make basically like a base to hold up the chicken wire. Using screws, I drilled the pieces of wood directly into the acrylic and it held really well. I started with a longer piece of chicken wire and had it fold over the top of the wood post that I just screwed into the chair, and then taking smaller pieces I just kind of added them onto the wire, and then using gloves I molded and shaped them until they made this shell shape. This was a little bit of a learning curve to get a hang of, but once I got it, it was pretty easy to mold all the wire in place. Next, I used some cheap masking tape to cover up all the wire. This will keep the paper mache from going through the wire since the holes are pretty big, and it also just helps create a little bit smoother of a surface. Now it's time for the fun part. We used Mod Podge to make our paper mache paste. I just mixed it with some water, and then I tore these pieces of paper, City soaked them for me, and then I just slapped them directly onto the chair. Having a little human to assist definitely helps a lot. Once it's all covered, it should look like this. Once the paper mache is dry, it's now time to add on the shell details. I used foil rolled up into strips to create these ridges on the shell. And then I covered them in more paper mache with these little strips until it was completely covered, and then I let it dry. Next, I'm going to add some barnacle details. I'm using clay foam to cover up all of the gaps where the wire met to the chair, and this kind of just makes a smooth finish, and it adds these cute little barnacle details. Once that dries, it's time to paint it. I started with a white coat of paint primer all over the entire shell, and then I used this tan color to kind of shade and add some dimension. For the back of the shell, I used this sand spray and then this hammered copper to create this textured look. For the front of the shell, I used various acrylic paints that were all shimmery. I used a wet sponge to blend all the colors together, and then I mixed holographic powder with glossy Mod Podge for the final top coat. Once everything's dry, I added the cushion onto the chair, and then voila, it fits in my van. Yay! So we took it to the beach for a little photo shoot, and as you can see, it's very light. My son was able to carry it. It was pretty sturdy and well balanced too. The paper mache and the wiring is super light, so it doesn't really weigh the chair backwards, and it sits up really fine by itself. But overall, I think this was a really doable DIY project. It was a lot of fun, and everyone loved it at the beach. It was super cute. If you end up making your own shell chair, please tag me. I'd love to see what you come up with. And yeah, I guess I'm a hermit crab now. Bye.